The way they're keeping everything so incredibly restrained is amazing. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Molly and in this video I'm going to be listening to the album Spiderland by Slint. Now Slint is a brand new band for me. I have never heard anything from them. I don't even know what genre really they are, and a handful of you have recommended this album to me here on the channel in the comments. This one Slint released in 1991 and I guess it's their final album as well. I don't know if they broke up as a band or what, but yeah, I'm excited to give Spiderland a listen and see what I'll think of it. Alright, so getting Spiderland started is track 1, which is called Breadcrumb Trail.
I was looking for the pirate ship when I saw this small old light tentacle.
I love how bright and shiny that guitar tone is. Okay, little switch up there. There's something about this really screechy tone that's reminding me of the Smashing Pumpkins a little bit.
Far below a soiled pan.
Man, and they're keeping it so restrained too. There's a lot of energy to this song, but they're just kind of holding it all in, if that makes sense.
The sun was setting by the time we left. We walked across the desert.
And then this part kind of reminds me of Pearl Jam a little bit. It has more of a rock quality, and then it's contrasted with that really atmospheric, fuzzy, almost shoegaze style.
But I could tell she was blushing.
That was track 1, Breadcrumb Trail. I kept getting goosebumps throughout that song at certain points. Just whenever they would change it up, there was so much variety. It was just fascinating to listen to. The guitar alone really drew me in with all of the different tones that they were utilizing. I loved at the beginning and the end that really clear, kind of crystalline one that I mentioned. It kind of had this shiny tone to it. So warm and vibrant, but then at other times they would kind of muffle it and there was all this distortion going on. But yeah, based on that first track, I am definitely intrigued to hear more from this album, that's for sure. So I'm going to continue on with track 2, which is called Nosferatu Man. That tone from the guitar, man, I love it. It's so abrasive.
Evenings I start to smile with my smiling queen. Like a bad eye flushed the girl and railed like a red cold train. She ran with her glances.
There's almost a bit of sludginess to the sound of this one. When that chorus comes in with that more energetic impact to it, it's just got such an amazing heaviness.
Rolling down the line. Till I see it disappear.
We set a fire to burn it. And I railed on through the night.
Yeah, again with the fuzziness on this track. I love it. It's creating this really dense atmosphere, almost a haziness to the sound.
She peeked around the corner.
And every now and again too, I'm hearing this really squeaky sound from the guitar. I like it. It's almost giving this sort of deconstructed quality to the sound.
There's nothing left to say.
That was track 2, Nosferatu Man. It's amazing how many different genres I'm picking up with this music. At times, it kind of has this nu metal edge, almost Deftones-esque, but then you've got all of that fuzziness and the distortion that they utilize as well. And then you've got more of a rock quality at times, and then the really atmospheric portions. It's just a blend of so many different aspects, but they're bringing it together so well. I loved that part too, where it would kind of stop for a second and it would just be the drums coming through, and then the song would start again. Those little breaks in the track just added so much to it. But continuing on with track 3 is Don Aman.
Don stepped outside. It felt good to be alone.
The street light and the buds on the trees and the night.
I love that guitar tone, man. So rich and warm.
The light. Their backs. With eyes like the heads of nails. The others.
These little tones they keep interjecting are so creative. It's adding so much to this record.
By no one without a key. Don left and drove and howled.
All right, I've got goosebumps again. It's kind of like this wave of distortion all of a sudden overtakes you. And then it just stops.
Don woke up. He saw his friend.
Well, that was track 3, Don Aman. A fascinating song. If there's one thing about this album so far, I can say it's incredibly unique with its sound. I have not heard another band with this approach to music. That song was almost like spoken word poetry or him reciting a short story to music. It was really interesting with the vocal delivery and everything. More of a talking style. A very strong acoustic quality to that one too, more pulled in, but then later on in the track, they did inject a little bit of that fuzziness and more of the distortion. But moving on is track 4 called Washer. Man, I love the drums. There's this really deep, almost hollowness to their sound.
Good night, my love. Rises from the shoes on my feet. We may meet again.
The way they're keeping everything so incredibly restrained is amazing. There's all this potential energy that these tracks have, but they're just pulling it in enough to kind of almost build this tension in a way.
Don't be afraid. Wash yourself in your tears.
It's interesting how this song is called Washer, and he's saying wash yourself with your tears, and there's this sort of wave-like quality to this track. It's almost like the tide coming in and then going out, kind of this back and forth melodicness that it has.
Listen to me. The sun will rise again.
That was cool. Promise me the sun will rise again were the lyrics, and then that one guitar tone was so bright and sunny with its sound. It was almost giving you a glimpse of that sunrise he was talking about.
From
All right, here we go. Now they're bringing in more of that wall of sound. was track 4, Washer. An absolutely incredible song, so immersive with its sound. I was just completely absorbed in everything going on. There was something almost dreamlike, kind of lullaby-esque about that song, very relaxing up until that end point where all of that distortion and the energy came surging in. And a very heartfelt song too. I'm finding that this album, from a lyrical standpoint, is very poetic. There's some amazing lyrics here. I definitely want to revisit it and kind of dive further into the lyrical themes on this thing. All right, moving on to track 5 is For Dinner. I love how they're building the song up like this. I mentioned on the last track, it's almost like the tide coming in and then it'll recede. Right, so they kind of built that song up a little bit there. It's like that flood of sound came in, and again, just such a clarity to its tone. That was track 5, For Dinner. I think if I'm not mistaken, so far every track on this album has faded out at the end, which is just kind of an interesting artistic choice for the band to make. And that song was purely instrumental, no vocals with that one. It really highlighted the drums. Those were standing out so much on that track. Their tone is incredible. It's so deep and there's sort of this hollowness to it. But I'm going to move on to the final song on Spiderland, which is track 6 called Good Morning Captain. I love the bass on this one. That's really coming through.
I'm the only one left.
The sharp transition between all of that distortion and the fuzziness, and then it's like they shut it off all of a sudden. The drums right there. Oh, I loved them. Is that a guitar? That's such an interesting noise.
From behind the edge of the windowsill. Help me, he whispered as he rose slowly to his feet.
That was cool with the vocals. How Help Me was kind of distorted a bit. It might have even been a different singer.
I'm trying to find my way home. I miss you.
Man, I was not expecting that intensity from the vocals all of a sudden. Well, that was track 6, Good Morning Captain. It was kind of interesting. I just made that comment about all of the tracks fading out on this album, and that one didn't really. It kind of had a more abrupt end there. That vocal delivery at the end bit there too was very surprising. That was probably the biggest, energetic release or punchy moment on this entire album. The way they used the distortion on that one too was so well done. It would kind of alternate between those more intense, distorted moments, and then it would switch right back to that kind of melodic, way more pulled in, restrained quality to their sound. Well, that concludes my reaction to Spiderland, the second studio album from the band Slint. I thought the variety of sounds and styles that Slint embraced on this album was incredible, and I was not expecting how almost poetic the lyricism was as well, and just the way it was delivered in more of that talking style was so unique. Picking standout songs off of this thing is incredibly difficult because it kind of all just flows together in one piece, if that makes sense. But I did enjoy the really punchy moments on Nosferatu Man, almost a nu metal style to that one at points. And then track 4, Washer, just had an incredible soundscape, so immersive and something almost relaxing about that song. And the last track too, Good Morning Captain, just how they slowly built that one up, and then there was that final release at the end with him screaming out the vocals. I thought that was so well done. But yeah, Spiderland, this entire album was just such an experience to listen to. I'm so glad a few of you recommended this one to me down in the comments. Otherwise, I would have never heard of this band before. I know they have a debut album as well that I could check out here on the channel, so let me know if you want to see a reaction to that one as well. And yeah, as usual, thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.